First contact. The alien craft streaked across the sky, trailing smoke and debris as it plummeted toward the desolate surface of Kepler 186f. Inside, Zira fought to maintain control, her four-fingered hands dancing across the flickering control panel. Warning klaxons blared as the ship entered the planet's thin atmosphere, the hull glowing red-hot from the friction. Come on, Zira muttered, her large, luminous eyes scanning the barren landscape below for any sign of a safe landing zone. The ship bucked and shuddered, systems failing one by one. With a final, desperate prayer to whatever cosmic forces might be listening, Zira braced for impact. Miles away, Dr. Eli Chen looked up from his soil samples, squinting at the bright streak cutting across the alien sky. His heart raced as he realized it was a ship, the first sign of intelligent life he'd seen in months of solitary research on this distant world. Without hesitation, Eli packed his gear and climbed into his rugged exploration vehicle. He gunned the engine, following the path of the fallen craft. As he crested a ridge, he saw the wreckage smoking in a shallow crater below. Eli approached cautiously, unsure what to expect. The ship's design was like nothing he'd ever seen, sleek and organic, almost alive. A hatch had been blown open in the crash, and as Eli peered inside, he gasped. Slumped in the pilot's seat was a creature straight out of science fiction. Humanoid, but clearly alien, with blue-tinged skin, large almond-shaped eyes, and delicate antennae sprouting from its bald head. The being was clearly injured, purple blood oozing from a gash on its forehead. Ellie's scientific curiosity warred with his caution. First contact was the dream of every xenobiologist, but he had no idea if this creature was friendly or hostile. As he debated his next move, the alien's eyes fluttered open, locking onto Eli with an intensity that made him stumble back. "Please," the alien said, its voice a musical whisper. "Help me." Eli blinked in shock. You speak English." "Universal translator," the alien managed, gesturing weakly to a device on its wrist. "Low power, won't last long." Decision made, Eli climbed into the ship. "I'm Eli. I'm here to help. Can you move?" The alien nodded, wincing as Eli helped it from the wreckage. "Zira, she said. "My name is Zira." As Eli half-carried Zira to his vehicle, a distant rumble made them both look up. 3 sleek ships, similar to Zira's but larger and more menacing, descended from the clouds. "No," Zira gasped, fear evident in her alien features. "They found me." "Who are they?" Eli asked, helping Zira into the passenger seat. "The ones I'm running from," she replied. "Please, we have to go. Now." Eli didn't need to be told twice. He gunned the engine, sending up a rooster tail of red dust as they sped away from the crash site. In the rearview mirror, he saw armored figures emerging from the newly landed ships, scanning the area with ominous-looking weapons. "What have I gotten myself into?" Eli muttered, but a glance at the injured alien beside him quashed any second thoughts. Whatever was going on, he couldn't abandon her now. As they raced across the barren landscape, Zira's translator sputtered and died. She let out a string of musical syllables that Eli assumed were curses. He'd have to rely on gestures and intuition to communicate now. Eli drove through the night, following the planet's twin moons toward the research base he called home. Zira drifted in and out of consciousness, murmuring in her alien tongue. Eli's mind raced with questions, but they would have to wait. As dawn broke, painting the sky in shades of green and gold, Eli finally allowed himself to relax slightly. There was no sign of pursuit. They might just have made it. The research base came into view, a cluster of prefab buildings and environmental domes nestled in a sheltered valley. Eli pulled into the vehicle bay and helped Zira inside, marveling at how light she was despite being close to human size. In the med bay, Eli hesitated. Alien biology was uncharted territory, but Zira's wound needed treatment, and he had to try. To his relief, the base's medical scanner was able to analyze her physiology and recommend treatment. As Eli cleaned and dressed Zira's head wound, her eyes fluttered open once more. She regarded him with a mixture of wariness and wonder. "Why?" she asked, her universal translator evidently working again. "If barely, why help me? You could have left me, killed me, taken my ship." Eli smiled, hoping the expression translated across species. "That's not who we are. Not who I am, anyway. You needed help. I couldn't just leave you there." Zira's antennae twitched, and Eli wondered if it was a sign of emotion. "My people, we're not so kind to strangers, especially alien ones." "Well," Eli said, finishing the bandage, "maybe this is a chance for both our species to learn something new." A series of rapid beats from the base's long-range scanner interrupted them. Eli rushed to check the readout, his face paling. "They're coming," he said. 3 ships, on an intercept course. We've got maybe an hour before they're on top of us." Zira struggled to sit up. "We have to run. If they find me here, they'll kill us both." Eli shook his head. "You're in no condition to travel, and even if you were, where would we go? This planet doesn't exactly have a lot of hiding places." He paced the room, mind racing. Then his eyes fell on a piece of equipment in the corner, an experimental cloaking device he'd been tinkering with in his spare time. It was designed to hide small objects from scanners, not an entire base, but maybe... "I have an idea," Eli said, a grin spreading across his face. "But I'm going to need your help. How much do you know about quantum field manipulation?" Zira's alien features arranged themselves into what Eli hoped was a smile. "More than you'd think, human. What did you have in mind?" As the alien ships drew ever closer, human and alien worked side by side, racing against time to pull off a plan crazy enough that it just might work. Their universe would never be the same. Quantum deception. As the alien pursuit ships loomed ever closer, Eli and Zira worked feverishly to modify the research base's systems. Their plan was audacious, combining human ingenuity with Zira's advanced knowledge of quantum mechanics. "Pass me the hyperspanner," Eli called out, his head buried deep in a tangle of wires and glowing crystals. Zira hesitated, her alien eyes scanning the unfamiliar human tools. "The one that looks like a sonic screwdriver," Eli clarified with a grin. Zira's translator might be failing, but their shared love of science was building a bridge between their species. With trembling hands, Zira passed him the tool. "This plan of yours," she said, her musical voice tinged with doubt, "it's never been attempted before. The quantum entanglement required to cloak an entire facility." Eli emerged from the console, his face smeared with grease and determination. "That's what makes it exciting. And terrifying, but mostly exciting." A proximity alarm blared, causing them both to jump. The enemy ships were entering the atmosphere. "It's now or never," Eli said, connecting the final power coupling. "Ready to make history." Zira's antennae quivered with what Eli was learning to recognize as excitement. "Let's show these galactic bullies what happens when you mess with human-alien cooperation." Eli threw the switch, and for a heart-stopping moment, nothing happened. Then the air around them began to shimmer and twist, reality itself seeming to bend. Outside, the 3 massive warships descended on the research base's coordinates. Their sensors probed the area, finding nothing. Where a cluster of buildings should have been, there was only empty desert. Inside the base, Eli and Zira watched breathlessly on the monitors as the ships circled overhead. The cloaking field held, bending light and energy around them in ways that defied conventional physics. "It's working," Eli whispered, afraid that even speaking too loudly might disrupt the delicate quantum state they created. Zira's luminous eyes were wide with wonder. "Incredible. Your species' scientific intuition is remarkable." For hours they huddled together in the shimmering bubble of altered reality, watching as their pursuers grew increasingly frustrated. Finally, with a burst of superheated atmosphere, the ships blasted back into orbit. As the cloaking field dissipated, Eva let out a whoop of triumph, sweeping Zira into an impulsive hug. He quickly released her, uncertain how the alien would react to such physical contact. To his surprise, Zira's skin flushed a deeper shade of blue. "That was not unpleasant," she said softly. Their moment of victory was short-lived, however. A new alarm sounded from the long-range scanners. "They're not giving up," Eli said grimly, studying the readouts. "They're establishing an orbital blockade. We're trapped on this planet." Zira's antennae drooped. "I'm sorry, Eli. I've brought this danger to your doorstep. Perhaps it would be best if I surrendered myself." Eli shook his head firmly. "Not a chance. We're in this together now, but we can't stay here forever. We need a plan." As they brainstormed their next move, Eli couldn't help but marvel at the situation. Here he was, a xenobiologist from Earth, plotting galactic strategy with an alien fugitive. It was terrifying, exhilarating, and utterly unprecedented. "Wait a second," Eli said, an idea forming. "Your ship, the one you crashed in, if we could repair it." Zira's eyes lit up. "Yes, it has stealth capabilities far beyond anything those brutes are using. But the damage—" "Show me," Eli said, grabbing his toolkit. "Between your knowledge and my knack for jury-rigging, we might just pull this off." They ventured out to the crash site under cover of darkness. As they approached the fallen ship, Zira placed a four-fingered hand on its hull. The metal seemed to ripple in response. "It's alive," Eli gasped. Zira nodded, in a sense. "A biomechanical hybrid. My people's greatest achievement, and the reason I'm being hunted." As Zira interfaced with the ship's systems, Eli set to work repairing the physical damage. It was like nothing he'd ever encountered: circuits that rewired themselves, metal that flowed like liquid. Hours passed in a blur of frantic activity. As twin suns crested the horizon, Eli stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. I think we did it," he said, scarcely believing it himself. Zira emerged from the cockpit, her alien features arranged in what Eli was learning to recognize as a smile. "Ellie, you've done the impossible. The ship is functional again." A distant rumble made them both look up. The blockading ships were beginning their descent, having finally detected the energy signature of the repaired vessel. "Time to go," Eli said, grabbing his hastily packed bag of supplies. Zira hesitated. "Ellie, you don't have to come. This isn't your fight." Eli grinned. "Are you kidding? The chance to explore the galaxy, to see things no human has ever seen. Wild horses couldn't keep me away." That's an Earth expression. It means—" "I understand the sentiment," Zira interrupted, her own smile widening. "Very well, my human friend. Let's show the universe what our species can accomplish together." They climbed into the organic cockpit, the ship humming to life around them. As the enemy vessels drew closer, Zira's hands danced across the living controls. "Hold on tight," she warned. "This might get a little unconventional." The ship shot skyward, its stealth systems already engaging. As they broke atmosphere, Eli got his first view of the stars from this alien world, constellations he'd never seen, holding endless possibilities. "Where to?" he asked, breathless with excitement. Zira's eyes twinkled with a mischievous light. "I know a place. A hidden outpost where others like me gather. Rebels, you might say. They're going to love you." As the ship accelerated to impossible speeds, Eli felt a thrill unlike anything he'd ever experienced. This was more than first contact. This was the beginning of a grand adventure, one that would change the course of human and alien history forever. Little did they know that quantum deception had attracted attention far beyond the pursuing ships. In the vast tapestry of the galaxy, new threads were being woven, threads that would soon draw Eli and Zira into a conflict spanning stars and species. But for now, as alien stars streaked past their viewport, all that mattered was the unlikely friendship forged in crisis and the promise of wonders yet to come. Cosmic fugitives. The stars blurred into streaks of light as Zira's ship tore through the fabric of space-time. Eli gripped his seat, his knuckles white, marveling at the alien technology that made such impossible speeds feel as smooth as gliding on glass. "Welcome to quantum slipstream travel," Zira said, her melodious voice tinged with pride. "Your species' theories barely scratch the surface of what's possible." Ellie's scientific mind raced with questions, but a warning klaxon cut him short. Zira's antennae twitched in alarm as she studied the flickering holographic displays. "Isotopic trackers," she hissed. "They've tagged us somehow. We can't lead them to the rebel base." Ellie's brow furrowed. "Can we lose them?" Zira's alien features arranged themselves into what Eli was learning to recognize as a mischievous grin. "Oh, we can do better than that. How do you feel about a little cosmic hide-and-seek?" Before Eli could respond, the ship banked hard, plunging toward a massive gas giant swirling with storms larger than Earth. They skimmed the turbulent atmosphere, the ship's biomechanical hull adapting to the crushing pressures. "Hang on tight," Zira warned. "This might get a little bumpy." With a series of dizzying maneuvers, they dove into the planet's storms. Lightning bolts thicker than skyscrapers crackled around them. Ellie's stomach lurched as they corkscrewed through bands of swirling gases, each layer a different psychedelic hue. Just when Eli thought he couldn't take any more, they burst free on the other side of the planet. But instead of open space, they found themselves surrounded by a vast, glittering asteroid field. "The Shattered Worlds," Zira explained, expertly weaving between house-sized chunks of rock and ice. Once a thriving solar system, now a graveyard of planets, and the perfect place to lose a tail. As if on cue, their pursuers emerged from the gas giant's turbulent atmosphere. Larger and less maneuverable, the enemy ships struggled to navigate the dense field. What followed was a high-stakes game of cat and mouse through the cosmic debris. Zira's piloting skills were nothing short of miraculous, making the ship dance between asteroids with millimeter precision. Eli found himself laughing with exhilaration despite the danger, his scientific mind cataloging 100 impossible things every second. A massive asteroid loomed ahead, easily the size of Earth's moon. Instead of avoiding it, Zira aimed straight for a gaping crater on its pockmarked surface. "Are you insane?" Ella yelped. Zira's antennae quivered with what might have been amusement. "Possibly, but I'm also very, very good at this." They plunged into the crater, which opened into a twisted labyrinth of tunnels honeycombing the asteroid's interior. Zira navigated the claustrophobic passages at breakneck speed, the ship's bioluminescent hull providing the only light in the inky darkness. Behind them, they heard the satisfying crunch of a pursuing ship misjudging a turn. The other gave up the chase, unwilling to risk the same fate. When they finally emerged on the far side of the asteroid field, Eli released a breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. That was intense. Zira's large eyes sparkled. "You haven't seen anything yet, my human friend. Now, let's see about that tracker." They set down on a small, airless moon. While Zira interfaced with the ship's systems, searching for the isotopic tag, Eli donned an environment suit to inspect the hull. As he floated above the ship's iridescent surface, Eli marveled at the view. An entire alien solar system spread out before him. Unlike anything in human astronomy texts, a binary star burned fierce oranges and purples, while ringed planets danced a complex orbit. "I found it," Zira's voice crackled through his helmet comb. "Clever little parasite. It's bonded with the hull at a quantum level." Eli frowned. "Can we remove it?" "Not without destabilizing the entire ship, but perhaps we can use it to our advantage." Over the next few hours, Eli watched in fascination as Zira reprogrammed the isotopic tracker. Her four-fingered hands moved with blinding speed across holographic interfaces, weaving strands of alien code that made his head spin. "There," she said finally, a note of triumph in her voice. "Now instead of broadcasting our location, it's creating a false trail. Our pursuers will be chasing shadows across half the galaxy." Eli grinned. Brilliant. So, where to now, your rebel base? Zira's antennae drooped slightly. I'm afraid not. It's too risky until we're certain we've lost all pursuit. No, we need to go somewhere they'd never expect. Somewhere off the galactic grid. She paused, fixing Eli with an intense stare. How would you like to make history, Eli Chen? Ellie's pulse quickened. Even more than we already have, you mean? Zira nodded. I'm talking about a place of legend, a world my people have sought for generations but never found. Until now. She called up a holographic star chart, zooming in on a nondescript sector of space. Buried in the ship's databanks, I found coordinates. Coordinates to Eden. Ellie's eyes widened. Eden, as in the mythical paradise. Every spacefaring race has legends of a perfect world, Zira explained. A planet of unimaginable beauty and scientific wonder. My people call it Xanadu. To others, it's Avalon or Shangri-La. But they all speak of the same place, a hidden world, untouched by war or corruption. A place where the greatest minds of the galaxy have gathered in secret for millennia, working to unlock the fundamental secrets of the universe. Ellie's scientific skepticism warred with his sense of wonder. And you think you found it? Zira's skin flushed a deeper blue. I believe so. But the journey won't be easy. The coordinates are encrypted, unfolding in stages. Each leg of the trip is a test, a puzzle to be solved. Are you up for the challenge, Dr. Chen? Eli felt a grin spreading across his face. Here he was, a simple xenobiologist from Earth, about to embark on a journey to a place of cosmic legend. It was utterly insane, completely reckless, and exactly why he'd become a scientist in the first place. Lead the way, Zira, he said. Let's make some history. As their ship accelerated into quantum slipstream, neither human nor alien could have predicted the wonders and dangers that awaited them. The journey to Eden would test them in ways they couldn't imagine, forging a bond between their species that would reshape the very fabric of galactic society. But for now, as alien stars rushed past their viewport, all that mattered was the thrill of discovery and the promise of uncharted horizons. Enigma of the cosmic keyhole. The ship dropped out of quantum slipstream with a reality-bending shudder, emerging into a star system unlike any Eli had ever seen. A colossal blue hypergent dominated the sky, its unstable surface roiling with solar flares that dwarfed entire planets. The Forge of Titans, Zira breathed, her alien eyes wide with awe. I never thought I'd see it with my own eyes. Eli squinted at the holographic readouts, his scientific mind struggling to process the impossible data. That star, it shouldn't exist. The energy output alone defies the laws of physics as your species understands them. Zira finished with a nod. Welcome to the first trial on our path to Eden. As they ventured deeper into the system, Ellie's jaw dropped. Impossibly close to the monstrous star orbited a planet that by all rights should have been vaporized eons ago. Its surface gleamed like polished obsidian, crisscrossed with rivers of molten light. The cosmic keyhole, Zira explained, skillfully piloting them towards the anomalous world. Legend says it's the first gateway to Eden. We need to decipher its secrets to receive the next set of coordinates. Ellie's mind raced with questions, but a proximity alert cut him short. A massive shape detached itself from the planet's dark side, a space station easily the size of a small moon. Survivors? Eli asked hopefully. Zira's antennae twitched nervously. I don't think so. Look closer. As they approached, Eli realized the station was ancient beyond imagining. Its surface was pitted and scarred from billions of years of stellar radiation. More disturbingly, its architecture was utterly alien, all twisted spires and non-Euclidean angles that hurt his eyes to look at directly. Who built this? He whispered. The precursors, Zira said solemnly. The beings who came before. The ones who scattered the breadcrumbs to Eden across the cosmos. A beam of coherent energy lanced out from the station, bathing their ship in scintillating light. For a heart-stopping moment, Ely feared they were under attack. But the ship's systems remained undamaged. Instead, a holographic message blossomed to life in the cockpit. Glowing symbols unlike any language Ely had ever seen scrolled through the air. Zira's eyes darted back and forth, her expression a mixture of concentration and growing excitement. "It's a test," she said, "a cosmic riddle. We need to prove we're worthy of proceeding to Eden." What followed was the most mind-bending scientific challenge of Ellie's life. The message contained fragments of advanced mathematical concepts, pieces of a universe-spanning puzzle. Human and alien worked side by side, their complementary knowledge pushing the boundaries of what either species thought possible. Quantum mechanics, string theory, and branches of mathematics Ely had never dreamed of all came into play. Zira's knowledge of higher dimensional space proved crucial, while Ailey's human intuition helped them approach problems from angles Zira's more rigid scientific training hadn't considered. Hours blended into days as they worked tirelessly, pausing only for brief naps and nutrient-dense meals. The station continued to bombard them with new data, each solved equation unlocking further layers of complexity. Finally, on the fifth day, something clicked. The final piece of the cosmic puzzle fell into place with an almost audible snap. The holographic display erupted in a dazzling light show, resolving into a three-dimensional star map. "We did it," Ely breathed, scarcely believing it. "We actually did it." Zira's skin flushed a deep, pleased blue. "I knew we could, my friend. Our species, working in harmony, there's nothing we can't accomplish." As the star map zoomed in on their next destination, a tremor ran through the ship. Outside the viewport, the ancient station was coming to life. Vast segments of its structure began to shift and reconfigure. Zira," Ely said nervously. "Please tell me that's supposed to happen." Before she could respond, a massive portal arisen open in the heart of the station. Swirling energies the color of deep space beckoned them forward. "A wormhole," Zira gasped. "A stable wormhole. Do you have any idea how impossible that is?" Ely grinned despite his apprehension. "About as impossible as everything else we've seen so far, so do we go through?" Zira's hands hovered over the ship's controls. "It's our next step on the path to Eden. But Ely, we have no idea what's on the other side. Once we enter, there may be no coming back." Ely placed his hand on Zira's shoulder, marveling at how natural the gesture felt despite their alien physiologies. "We've come this far together. I say we see it through." Zira nodded, her large eyes shimmering with an emotion Ely couldn't quite name. With a determined set to her shoulders, she guided their ship towards the yawning portal. As they approached the threshold, alarms blared to life. A constellation of quantum signatures blossomed on their long-range sensors. The pursuing fleet had somehow found them. "How?" Ella yelped. "I thought we lost them." Zira's fingers danced across the controls, her voice tight. "The wormhole's energy signature. It's like a beacon for anyone looking closely enough." A barrage of weapons fire lanced past them, the pursuers closing fast. The wormhole's event horizon loomed large in their viewport, a shimmering curtain of cosmic mystery. "Cutting it a bit close, aren't we?" Ely shouted over the klaxons. Zira flashed in what he'd learned was her species' equivalent of a roguish grin. "I told you this would be an adventure, didn't I?" With a final burst of speed, they plunged into the wormhole's maw. Reality twisted and stretched around them, the very fabric of space-time warping in ways that made Ellie's neurons misfire. His last glimpse of normal space showed the pursuing ships pulling up short, unwilling or unable to follow. Then they were through, emerging into somewhere else, somewhere impossible. The ship's sensors struggled to make sense of their surroundings. They floated in a vast bubble of breathable atmosphere, surrounded on all sides by the naked vacuum of space. Massive structures that defied description orbited a star that shone in colors Ellie's eyes couldn't fully process. And there, at the heart of it all, hung the planet of breathtaking beauty. A world that couldn't exist, but somehow did. Eden, Zero whispered, her voice filled with reverence. As they drifted towards their impossible destination, Eli felt a profound sense of awe. Whatever awaited them on the surface of that mythical world, he knew that human and alien history alike were about to be rewritten. The greatest adventure of their lives was just beginning. The nexus of all realities. As their ship descended through Eden's shimmering atmosphere, Eli and Zira was struck speechless by the planet's impossible beauty. Crystalline spires rose miles into the sky, their facets refracting light in ways that defied physics. Floating islands drifted lazily overhead, trailing waterfalls that turned to mist long before reaching the ground. And everywhere, life flourished in forms beyond imagination. "It's real," Eli breathed, his scientific mind reeling. All the legends, the myths, they were true. Zira's antennae quivered with emotion. "More than true. This is beyond anything my people ever dreamed." Their ship, responding to some unseen guidance, brought them to a landing platform that seemed to be woven from living light. As the hatch opened, they were greeted by a committee unlike any diplomatic reception in galactic history. Beings of every conceivable shape and form stood before them, some humanoid, others so alien that Ellie's eyes struggled to make sense of their geometries. There were creatures of pure energy, entities that seemed to phase in and out of reality, and things that existed in more dimensions than Eli could comprehend. At the forefront stood a figure that radiated an aura of ancient wisdom. It appeared simultaneously as a statuesque humanoid of indeterminate gender, a pulsing sphere of golden light, and a complex mathematical equation, all depending on how Eli's brain tried to process it. "Welcome, seekers," the being said, its voice resonating directly in their minds. "I am the curator. We have awaited your arrival for eons." Eli and Zira exchanged a bewildered glance. "You knew we were coming?" Zira asked. The curator's form shifted, a ripple of amusement passing through its multifaceted existence. "Time is fluid here. Past, present, and future interweave in ways your species are only beginning to grasp. Come, there is much to show you." What followed was a whirlwind tour that expanded Eli and Zira's understanding of the universe a thousandfold. They witnessed the birth and death of stars in the span of heartbeats, peered into the quantum foam of reality itself, and saw the intricate threads of fate that bound all sentient beings across the cosmos. The curator led them to the heart of Eden, a vast chamber that defied Euclidean geometry. At its center pulsed a swirling vortex of pure possibility. "Behold," the curator intoned, "the nexus of all realities, the source of all creation and destruction in the multiverse. It is why Eden exists, hidden from the rest of the cosmos. To protect it, to study it, and when the time is right, to use it." Ellie's scientific curiosity warred with a profound sense of cosmic insignificance. Use it for what? The curator's form shimmered, resolve radiating from its ever-shifting presence. To save everything that is, was, or ever will be. Over the next several subjective days, for time flowed strangely in Eden, Eli and Zira learned of a threat beyond imagining. An extra-dimensional entity of pure entropy, drawn to their universe by the imbalance caused by unchecked expansion of spacefaring civilizations. It sought to unmake all of creation, to return the cosmos to a state of primal chaos. "This is why you were brought here," the curator explained. "Your unique bond, human and alien, so different yet so harmonious, holds the key to our salvation." Eli and Zira found themselves at the center of a plan millennia in the making. Their complementary knowledge, their ability to bridge the gap between species, was crucial to unlocking the full potential of the Nexus. They worked alongside the greatest minds in the history of the cosmos, beings whose intelligence dwarfed entire civilizations. Ellie's human intuition and capacity for lateral thinking proved invaluable, while Zira's multidimensional understanding helped solve problems that had stymied even the precursors. As the final pieces fell into place, a sense of cosmic momentum built around them. Eli and Zira stood before the swirling heart of the Nexus, their hands clasped tightly together. "Are you ready?" Eli asked, his voice barely a whisper. Zira's alien features arranged themselves into a smile that conveyed both determination and affection. "With you by my side, always." They stepped forward as one, allowing the energies of the Nexus to wash over them. Their consciousness expanded, encompassing the entirety of the multiverse in a single eternal moment. They saw the encroaching darkness, the tide of uncreation that threatened to consume all, but they also saw the myriad strands of possibility, the infinite potential for life and growth and wonder. With a thought that resonated across realities, Eli and Zira reshaped the cosmic order. They wove a new tapestry of existence, one that maintained the delicate balance between creation and entropy. The multiverse shuddered, realigned, and was born anew. When awareness returned to their individual forms, Eli and Zira found themselves back on the platform where their journey began. The assembled beings of Eden regarded them with a mixture of awe and gratitude. The curator approached, its form now stable and easier for their minds to process. "It is done," it said simply. "You have saved us all." As the implications of what they'd accomplished sank in, Eli turned to Zira. "So, what now?" Zira's large eyes sparkled with possibilities. "Now, my dear human, we have a universe to explore. One that's a little safer, a little more balanced, thanks to us." Eli grinned, feeling simultaneously exhausted and more alive than he'd ever been. "Lead the way, partner." As they prepared to depart Eden, now honorary members of the most exclusive society in the cosmos, Eli and Zira knew that their greatest adventures still lay ahead. They had glimpsed wonders beyond imagining, reshaped the very fabric of reality, and forged a bond that transcended species. Whatever the vast, newly reborn multiverse held in store, they would face it together, the human scientist and the alien fugitive who had found in each other the rarest thing of all, a perfect complement, a cosmic partnership that would echo across eternity. The stars beckoned, full of new mysteries to unravel and new civilizations to encounter. And this time, humanity would not be alone in its journey to the infinite. Thanks to Eli and Zira, the dawn of a new age of galactic cooperation and understanding had begun. As their ship lifted off from Eden, carrying with it the blessings and knowledge of countless advanced beings, Eli and Zira shared a look of pure joy and anticipation. The universe, in all its vast and glorious complexity, awaited them. And they couldn't wait to see what came next.